Yum, yum!
Hello, so let's talk about the Modo to Unreal bridge. It's pretty straightforward, but there are some little tricks and quirks that are useful to know. So in Modo, the plugin is already installed. It's in your kit manager here, so you can just open it and drag it out here so we have it visible. And then in Epic, it's in the marketplace. You type Modo and you find the Modo bridge. There are two versions, the current one and the legacy plugin. The legacy plugin is for Modo versions up to 12.1 v1. So we're going to be using this one, the recent one, and the Unreal Engine 4.21.2. So in the editor, my plugin is already installed here. If you're going to need to activate it, so you go to your plugins, activate whatever you have installed, and then restart, and then the plugin will be ready to use. So then you'll have it here, and you have to start the connection with Modo here. It's automatic, that's all you have to do. So back in Modo, I have here a cube with two materials, a cone with two materials, and then 5 instances that are duplicated with the radial array. So without doing anything special, I'm just going to select meshes, mesh instances, textures, materials, and add mesh to level. Press the start button to connect with the Unreal, and then I'm going to do push all. And then you'll see in Unreal, it has created a folder called Scene Protocol with materials, all the materials that are in the scene, not necessarily the ones that are assigned to the meshes. I have my meshes here, and I have only one of the cones, and the instances have been duplicated in the outliner there, which is very useful. And you'll see that the meshes are tagged as movable. Let me move this down. There we go. So if I go back to Modo and I want to make a change to my cone, like I'll do like something very basic. Change the geometry and give it a new material. This material is already in Unreal. And then I'll just select the cone and push selected this time. And in Unreal, my geometry and my materials are updated. If I had added a material that wasn't in the original list of materials, it would be added here as well. Now you can go back to Modo also, although I don't find that particularly useful, but any transformation done to the mesh in the outliner will be transferred to Modo. So for instance, I moved it, and I'm going to change the scale. And if I go back to the Modo Bridge plugin here, I'll say push selected. And in Modo, that instance has been moved as well. Now in Unreal, so as I told you, this is a Scene Protocol folder here. There's material, meshes, and then if I had textures, they would be added in a separate folder here, and we'll get to that in a second. So any transfer from Modo to Unreal is going to be stored in this folder. Like even if I open a new scene inside Modo and transfer new meshes, if this folder is still around, everything is going to be stored in that same hierarchy. So if I decide to rename this, for instance, and I say this is my first series of assets. Next time I do my connection, Unreal is going to create another folder, Scene Protocol, and load the new meshes in that folder. So this is actually a great way to organize your scenes, and you can rename it and start uploading another one, and then you can start organizing your content immediately without having to drag things from one folder to the other. The materials here have the name that you give them inside Modo, of course. But if you change the name of that material, it won't change in Unreal. Here, I'll show you quickly. New material. And I can just even send just the material that's selected here. So I say push selected. Go back to Unreal. Material hasn't changed, and the name hasn't changed. Once it's in Unreal, you have to manage the names from here. Also, same with the colors and all the information inside the material. Once it's here, it's just a tag that you can manage inside of Unreal. And to go back to the names, anything in the name of a material or texture is going to show inside Unreal. So when you rename material that has a number added because it's been duplicated, that number is going to show inside of Unreal. If it was material 1, material in parentheses 4, it would show as material 4 inside of Unreal. You may want to think about that before you upload. So let's look at another example with textures, because this is when it gets a little more interesting. So I have this simple shape and I textured it in the Substance Painter. You can assign specific Unreal textures and materials to your assets here. Like for material, you can go to Change Type, right? Custom Materials, Unreal. And for the textures, you can assign a specific Unreal assignment. So base color, roughness, whatever. What I've noticed though is that even if you don't, they get transferred correctly. So you don't have to. The only one that doesn't work from my tries is the metallic. If you don't assign it as an Unreal metallic, if you just give it if you go to principled and give it a metallic effect, that won't transfer into Unreal. So that's why in this case I put Unreal metallic. The only one that's a little weird is this Unreal bump, which doesn't do anything since there's no bump inside of Unreal. It should be Unreal height if you wanted to use it like that. So usually I just leave it like that, or just give it a diffuse color and then reassign it properly inside of Unreal. You'll notice also that I have two different diffuse colors. This one, which is the painted wood texture, and then also have this one, which I want to use in Unreal to mask the top here and do different effects or whatever. So this one is assigned to separate UV map, and I actually have 3 UV maps for this model. So I have my main UV here for the painted wood. I've done a second one that I might want to use as a light map, let's say, and then I have this third UV just for the top. So I'll drag it under because I want to show you what difference it makes. So I have my 3 UVs, my cone item. I'm going to do push selected. And inside of Unreal, you can see I have a new scene protocol with my materials. So I have only one here, my mesh, and I have all my textures. So they're all here, but if you open the material, this way of this with displaying the nodes from scratch is really annoying. So I have all my textures properly assigned, except I don't have my second base color, so it doesn't even load it inside the interface. My diffuse color that I want to use as a mask is not in the texture edit, in the node editor, so I would have to drag it and then prepare my setup inside here. So that's one thing to note. The other thing that's important to note is that when you look at the mesh editor, I have my 3 UVs. So this is my first one, correct. This is my third one, it's correct. Like my second one, Unreal has created a new map and trashed the one I had prepared inside of Modo. So that's important to know. There's no way to avoid that for now. Like when you import an FBX file inside of Unreal, you have the option of not creating the light map. When you use the bridge, Unreal is going to create a light map automatically on the second UV, and it's going to trash what you had before. So the workaround for that is to create, inside of Modo, if you want 3 UV maps or 4 or 5, you better create a blank one for the second spot here, and then add the other ones, knowing that in Unreal you can add up to 8. The great thing about renaming the textures inside of Modo is that you can give clues or tags about how to use them inside of Unreal. So you can, for instance, this one, I can specify its UV number 3 in Modo, but number 2 in Unreal. If it's tiled, I can give tiling information. I can say how it's to be used, so you have that directly in the name. If you use an FBX export, basically you're going to get this name for your texture. So that's basically it. I hope this video was useful. Hopefully they will improve the plugin in the future so you have more options. Choose not to create the light map, for instance, that would be great. And when they do, I'll update this video. That's it for now. Bye.
Yum, yum!